this little pad. And I picked up probably 6 or 7 handfuls of trash just laying around right there. It's like people that are too lazy just to throw their straw wrappers or their Starbucks cup into the trash can.
It is. It's just laziness. The lake we were at today, at first glance, I thought, man, this place is super clean. And then my wife started pointing out, there's a tampon wrapper right there, and there's straws and crap all over the place. She said, this place is disgusting.
Yep.
I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, just what you did, just pick it up, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to take a moment here and shameless plug. Hey, it's a fantastic group. They're based out of Oregon. It's the Gambler 500. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's kind of like a 500-mile off-road navigational rally. But the main goal is to leave the land cleaner than you found it. This year, over one weekend, it was 2 days, they collected 500 cubic yards of trash out of the Oregon National Forests.
Excuse me? 500 cubic yards?
Yes, 500 cubic yards.
What was the name of that place again, that organization?
It's called Gambler 500.
I've been talking to a couple of other conservation groups. There's one here in Colorado they adopt trails. It's called CORE.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out and they maintain trails, do trail reports, make suggestions to the CPW people about how to, route the trails. And it's the same deal. They go out and they take care of people's ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do have the Gambler 500. They do have a nonprofit organization. It's called the Sons of Smoky, is their actual organization. So they've got a lot of national backing from a lot of the national forest for the organization to go out, and they sponsor and help with the cleanups in multiple states. We've run a few here in New Mexico. There's one in Colorado in 2 weeks, actually.
Well, no kidding. Where at? Do you know?
I want to believe it's near Pikes Peak, but I'm not 100% sure on where that one's going to start.
Yep. All the cool stuff happens south of me.
Yeah.
Are you part of that? Are you part of the Gambler 500?
I am. I've participated in 2 rallies so far. We're going to do a short trail cleanup in a couple weeks here in the Sandia Mountains. A couple cars that have driven off the cliff. We're going to go in, do some vehicle recoveries, then just have the police tow those out.
So in your list of things you do in New Mexico, obviously you hunt.
Yes.
I've been seeing I'll look through your Facebook profile. Do you participate in hot air balloons?
100%.
We need to talk about that because they do a little bit of that around here, and I know nothing about hot air balloons other than they're lighter than air, right? They just float. There's balloons.
Yep. They're so it's called an ETA, lighter than air. It is, most of the time they're around a 80,000 cubic feet envelope, or that's the balloon part of it. And then you have your gondola. With the gondola, you can hold, a single person, or if you have a bigger envelope, you can hold more people, just depending on how risky you want to get with it. But my pilot, he normally takes up 3 people, anytime he goes.
So when did you get into hot air ballooning? When you moved out there?
It was probably about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago is when I actually really got into it. I'd been, to the Balloon Fiesta. I don't know if you know about the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. It's the largest hot air balloon fiesta in the world. But I'd been there a few times, tried talking with some pilots, trying to get more information. Well, then just happened to have a pilot stumble into me, started crewing for him, crewed for him for, it's 3 years now. Got a couple other balloons that I did crew for. It's just an amazing thing. Worst part is getting up at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah. That's a bummer. How high up do those things go?
I went up in one. It was about 5,600 feet off the deck. So that means what that means is we were 5,600 feet off the ground. But now Albuquerque is just over a mile high. So we were just under 11,000 feet above sea level.
Wow. You don't control those things, obviously, other than up and down, right?
Oh, no. They have, so depending on the brand, just like cars, you have your Ford, Chevys, Dodges. Balloons are the same way. There's plenty of manufacturers out there. The little group of balloons that I was crewing for, they all had the same balloon, just so that their crew could jump back and forth without no hesitation on what's going on with them. But you actually can turn it left and you can turn them right. And all you're doing with that is trying to get the balloon into position to catch the airstream. And that is it.
So how long does it take you to learn how to maneuver one of those things? I mean, is that a hard skill to acquire?
I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no, because I don't want to, I haven't started my pilot's training yet.
Okay.
But that is one of the things that I am in the process of doing. But being on as many flights and crewing for as long as I have, it seems like it would be fairly easy for me. But if somebody else just hopped in and was like, "Oh, I have no idea what I'm doing."
Yeah, I'd be on that boat. I'd just be tugging the chain going higher, higher, higher. Okay. So hot air balloons, I'm done. I've quenched my interest.
Hey, they're amazing. And if you ever want to ride, let me know and I'll see what I can do for you and your family.
Well, it'd be me and probably my two crazy ass kids. My wife would never go up in one. I had to give. She took some kind of anxiety pill the first time we ever flew, and we got on the plane. She looked over at me and said, "I don't even care if we die."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want that kind of attitude in a hot air balloon. Trust me.
Well, and that's the crazy thing is, one more thing about the hot air balloon, is once you're up there, you can't even, you feel no wind, you feel no movement, you can't hear anything. It's just peaceful, quiet. And the only time you'll ever feel the wind is whenever it grazes your neck before the balloon changes directions. Other than that, it's like sitting in your chair, except for you're a mile in the air.
That is so strange, because I would think there'd be a lot of movement and turbulence. And
Nope.
Wow. I'm going to have to try that. That does sound kind of neat.
It's an absolute blast.
So back down to earth.
I caught that pun there.
Do you do any mountain trail jeeping?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously with the Gambler 500 stuff.
Yeah, and I do. I don't do anything too extreme. I try not to. Of course, I try to stay on my trails. I hate going off trails, just because that can cause damage to your ecosystem. Just something. I try my hardest. You got to stay on the trails, and that's I exaggerate that and pound that in all my friends' heads. That don't leave the trails. Just stay on the trails. But I try not to get too extreme with it.
Yeah, I saw some pretty depressing pictures last weekend. People were parking, all over these alpine fields, just trying to get closer to the trailhead.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't understand the havoc they're wreaking on all that stuff.
Oh, it's insane. We're dealing with the same thing. I think a lot of it has to do with the COVID-19 shutdowns. Now there's more people that want to get out and they actually want to explore, and it's just causing damage for our public lands.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't really be mad at them because it's their land too.
Exactly. That's 100% true.
Just seems like those people are a little more inconsiderate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, here versus back in Ohio. We used to go down the river bottoms all the time and fish.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, you'd have those bands of four-wheelers that would just drive through the farmers' fields, tear up all their crap, And then next thing you know, boom, you can't go down the river anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. I know there was plenty of times that I was down in the river bottoms fishing. And there were actually a few people on 348 north of the Briar Patch that give permission to access the river through their land. But then, like you said, those four-wheelers, dirt bikes, everything come through there. Guess what? That access is gone.
Yeah, well, and then my main access got taken away because a gold prospecting place got put in, but I call shenanigans. I don't think they ever found any gold down there. Listen, I was on the Scioto River for 15 years. I never saw the first speck of gold anywhere.
I was about to say, for as much as time spent on that river between me and you, I guarantee we probably would have found something, and I never found anything.
Had to have. I mean, that's whatever. Okay, this is what I'm really excited to talk about. I want to talk about your elk hunt this year.
All right.
So go ahead, fill me in, because listen, I'm brand new to big game hunting out here. I've got my elk and mule deer tag, but I want to hear about yours because I think you might have a little more exciting time than me.
Well, that's I guess I could tell you we've already made it public. So my wife is expecting.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you very much. We figured we would double down this time, so we are having twins.
Oh, geez. You're a savage.
Yeah. But our due date is going to be October 23rd.
Oh, no. When's your tag?
October 17th to the 21st.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, who's going to be in the room with her while you're out in the mountains?
So I've kind of been hoping that they come just a little bit early. You know, still safe, still healthy, but if they're here a week early, we've already discussed that. If they're here, they're healthy, and she has somebody here to help her, I'm still allowed to go. So I got my fingers crossed on that one.
Okay, so we're planning for best case scenario. What's your what unit are you hunting in? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, of course. So I drew for a Unit 52 mature bull elk tag. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's the first time I've drawn a bull out here. And for the listeners, this isn't like Ohio. You can't just walk into a gas station and buy any hunting license you want. You have to put in, and it's a lottery, and hope like hell you get drawn for it. That's how all their big game is done, which is unfortunate because I haven't drawn in the past 4 years. But it's also nice because it gives some of those other hunters an opportunity to get out there instead of the same people every year.
Does New Mexico have leftover draw or over the counter?
They have the only thing that is over the counter, small game, birds, and bear. Everything else is, I believe everything else is a draw.
Yeah, so that's a little bit different than here. Now, they've just instituted a second draw here in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go through the first draw, don't get your unit, you can apply for, apply for the leftover tags.
Mm-hmm.
And then after all that's done, then I think they still do over the counter.
Well, when our leftover tags went on sale, we had I think all of them but 3 were youth units that were left over. And then the 3 that were not youth units, they were muzzle loaders, and they sold out within seconds of going on sale.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So the unit you're hunting in, you're hunting rifle, right?
Correct. I'm hunting the first rifle hunt of the season.
Is that what they would consider like a prize unit or a trophy unit?
That is nowhere close to a trophy unit. I have seen some big bulls in there, but that was not my first choice. But I've hunted this unit before, and that was kind of my backup unit, so that if I didn't draw anywhere else, I would still if I were to draw, I know that unit.